Well, hi class. I'd like to welcome you to the beginning of this 8-week session on the Introduction to Public Speaking. And I can tell you this with complete confidence right at the outset of this course, this could be one of the most important and valuable classes that you take throughout your college career. Because one, you look at the importance of public speaking, and I think even more relevant now where we have such a difference in politics. Your voice is your power. So in a democratic society, you want to utilize your voice and learn how to maximize your full potential to speak to others, because that's part of your right as a citizen living in the United States of America. So your voice is your power. So let's make sure that we're doing everything we can to fully develop our voice so that we know how to make a difference in our society. We know how to make a difference in the lives of others just by being able to get up and speak to others. So very important, very relevant class. A couple things I want to tell you about the class just right off the bat. This class will be taught asynchronously, which means we will have no mandated or scheduled meetings that you are required to attend. There's also no textbook for the course. So everything you need to be successful in this class, you will find in your Canvas shell. And in just a little bit, we'll actually go through the shell and I'll point out some things that I want to make sure you understand about navigating through Canvas as we work through the 8-week session. Also, you want to make sure that this week you read all of the material. So you want to read the welcome page, make sure you go over the syllabus clearly, and if there's anything that you don't understand, make sure that you send me an email. In fact, I already had a question that a student submitted looking over the syllabus. Hey, Paul, what do you mean by keeping a journal and recording stuff as we're working through the semester? What I'm talking about there is, and here's the cool thing about taking a class in public speaking, because big picture, what we're really doing is we're just learning how to improve our ability to communicate. So the things that you learn about being a better speaker, those are also going to help you to become a better communicator in your one-on-one conversations. And so there's a high degree of practicality with what we learn in this class, and your world is like your laboratory. And so what you want to do as you're navigating through the course this semester, you'll learn a concept about communication, jot that down in a journal. Keep a journal of what you're learning about communication. And then the key, if you really want to maximize your ability to really learn and develop and improve as a communicator, take what you learn and apply it in your daily interactions. So maybe as we're going through the course, we have a section on how to improve your listening ability. And so that might be something you'd write down in your journal. Okay, so I can be a better listener by doing these things, and I'm really going to work on applying those skills and techniques in my communication with my parents, in my communication with my significant other, in my communication with folks on the job. And then you kind of keep track and measure and write about how those communication concepts and applying those techniques are working out and helping you to improve as a communicator. And then at the end of the semester, when we figure out your grade, you can tell me about all the great things that you learned in this class to improve your overall ability to communicate and your ability to be a better public speaker. So if you ever have any questions, just break me off an email. I'll get back to you. But also understand, make sure that you are responsible for reading all of the material on all of the modules and watching all of the instructional videos. The one thing I've learned about teaching a class online is that there are basically two kinds of students. There are those of you who read everything. You watch all the instructional videos, and those are the students that tend to do really well because they have all of the information they need to be successful. And then I have the other students that just wait until something pops up on their calendar. They try to do the assignment without utilizing all of the lecture material, all of the reading material, and so their work isn't done as well. And a lot of times I'm getting questions on stuff that was covered in the modules. So make sure that you're not in that second category, right? Utilize all of the information. And then if you have a question, if something still isn't working, cool, but it gets a little frustrating if I get a question on an assignment that I covered in detail in writing and in one of my instructional videos, and you're asking a question because you didn't watch the material. So work with me on that. I try to put a lot of time and effort into the materials you have on Canvas and in the recorded materials, so make sure you're utilizing all of the available materials so that you have everything you need to be as successful as possible. And also too, with this class, I really try to tell students, try to look at me more as a public speaking coach than an instructor. And what I mean is, I'm not just here to evaluate your work. What I'm here to do is to help you get better as a speaker. My goal is that you maximize your full potential as a speaker by the end of the 8 weeks. So realize I'm on your side. I want to make you better. And any of the work that you submit, you're going to get a full critique from me. But in those critiques, I'll be pointing out things that you're doing well because I want to reinforce that. But also, I'm going to continually tell you things that you need to improve, that you need to do better, not because I want to give you a bad grade, but because I'm trying to really motivate you and maximize your full potential as a speaker. I want you all to be outstanding public speakers by the time we get to the end of the semester, and each and every one of you can be an outstanding public speaker by the time we get to the end of the 8 weeks, if you utilize all the material and if you do your work to the best of your ability. All right, so when it comes to grading, as I mentioned before, you're going to have a lot more input in your overall grade. Notice that the assignments, most of them, you'll get either a complete or an incomplete with a detailed overall evaluation. Your first upcoming assignment is your introductory video. And that really serves two purposes. One, helps us all to get to know you a little bit better. We start developing our class community. But also, one of the keys, one of the main aspects of that introductory video is I want you in that video to tell me 3 things, establish 3 goals that you want to accomplish by the end of the semester. And one of the ways we'll determine your grade at the end of the semester, we're going to see, we're going to measure, we're going to evaluate how well you have met each of your 3 goals. So you want to put a little bit of thought and time into, here are the 3 things that I want to gain from this class. Make sure they're specific so that we can measure them. So for example, you wouldn't say, well, one of my goals is I want to get an A, right? And what does that even mean? Okay, an A can be so many different things to different people. It's so subjective. So I don't like grades. And what do we do to figure out whether or not you get an A? So you need to make your goals specific. So rather than I want to get an A, tell me 3 things that you want to do, accomplish in order to get an A in the class. It could be, and this will be a goal that probably a lot of you will have, I really want to learn how to become more comfortable as a speaker. I want to learn how to control that nervous anxiety and that fear of public speaking. Cool. That's a goal we can measure. So hopefully at the end of the semester, you put in all the work, you put in the effort at the end of the semester. Wow, I feel so much more comfortable as a speaker. Cool, we accomplished that goal. Another goal could be, I just want to really work on getting rid of vocal fillers when I speak, like you know, I want to eliminate vocal fillers. That's an excellent goal, and that's something we can measure as we work through the semester, as you do each presentation, as you use less and less vocal fillers until you do your last couple speeches without any ums or uhs, you've met that particular goal. So in terms of your overall grade for the semester, a lot of that will be determined by the 3 goals you established for yourself in the introductory video that's due at the end of this week. So make sure you really focus on that. And then the other thing, and this is a real key to learning how to speak remotely, because basically, not basically, all of you are going to be giving your presentations in your room, right? Somewhere, could be in your car, could be at work, but you're going to be alone. You're going to be speaking into your recording device, which is probably either a laptop or a phone. But what you'll learn about public speaking, and one of the most important aspects of public speaking, is eye contact. You can't engage an audience. You can't maintain the attention of the audience unless you look at them. Now, because you're speaking remotely, there's no audience there, we have to create the illusion of making eye contact with our viewers. So to do that, one of the first things I want to see, and I want to see it in the introductory videos, your eyes need to be on the camera. We're creating the illusion. Like right now, I'm just speaking in my office, right? Nobody's here, but I'm trying to create the illusion that I'm speaking directly to you by focusing my eye contact right into that little camera right at the top of my laptop. And that's the tricky part about speaking remotely, because our eyes are just automatically drawn to the screen. So you've got to learn that when speaking remotely, eyes on the camera, you don't want your eyes on the screen. If your eyes are on the screen, now we're just kind of watching you read your speech, and that's boring. I'm sure some of you have been in a class where the teacher is giving a lecture and they're just reading their speech. No eye contact. Hard to keep the audience into the presentation. So eyes on the camera. And if you just watch any of the news shows, talk shows, where a guest is on and the guest is in their home and they're actually speaking remotely, no one else is there, you'll notice that their eyes will look like they're looking directly at you. That's because eyes are focused on the camera, not on the screen. So remember that when you do your first introductory video that's due at the end of this week. All right. Also, too, we're going to go ahead and jump on Canvas, just show you a couple things, point out a couple things on the modules. But real important for this assignment, because all of your presentations will be submitted as a video, you have to make sure that you learn how to embed your video onto Canvas when you submit your videos. It's real easy to do, and I'll show you where the instructional video is on embedding your videos. But you've got to make sure that you learn that word embed. If your video isn't embedded, I won't evaluate it. So your videos have to be embedded, so that's one of the first things you want to learn just from kind of the tech end when it comes to this class. All right, last thing I want to do, let's go ahead and let's go to the screen. I want to jump on Canvas and just point out a couple things about our Canvas shell. Okay, so we are on the home page for the Canvas shell, and essentially for this class, you get the home page, the syllabus, and the modules. And all the work will be done on the actual module. So to get started in this class, obviously you want to go ahead and read through the welcome page. And then I have it set up so when you get to the bottom of a page, you should be able to click and go to the next one. So now you can go right to the syllabus. You want to make sure that you spend some time here on the syllabus, course description. Here's the information about the lectures and meetings. I'll show you too where I will post those Tuesday lectures, course objectives, student learning outcomes. Want to make sure that you pay attention to these because these are the goals that I have for you. So I want to make sure that you know how to organize and structure a speech. That's probably one of the biggest things you're going to learn in this class. Most of you have had some public speaking experience, just K through 12 education. You've probably given some presentations. But one thing that you'll learn about speeches, there are set organizational formats that you can use to really help you to structure your presentations. And that's a big part of this class. And so one takeaway from this class, you'll not only learn how to write a speech by constructing an outline, but that also is going to help you with writing writing papers and essays in the future. So that's a real big component of the class. We're also going to utilize just different ways that you can give presentations. I mean, one thing in this class that you're utilizing, I call it the podcast presentation style, but that's where you're sitting down giving a presentation, but certainly okay if you want to stand up for your presentations, a little bit more traditional. So there's some real flexibility in this class, and I really encourage students to try a lot of different styles of presenting information. So that's something that we want to learn, real big right here. I want you to develop your confidence in public speaking. Look, that's half the battle when it comes to public speaking. The stuff that you're actually learning, like look at people, open mouth, talk. Most of you have been doing this since you were 1.5 years old. But it's that anxiety, it's that nervousness that keeps us from really utilizing our voice and seeing our voice as being a powerful instrument that we can use to bring about social change. And so we've got to develop our confidence in our ability. So on my end, sometimes that involves a little bit of lying, but I'm going to do everything I can to build your confidence, because I know once you believe in your ability to speak in public, the rest is downhill because you already know how to do the rest of the skills. And then last thing, we want to also make sure that we're learning how to be a good student, how to manage our time. Because the real important part, I think, of community colleges as a whole is that we're developing you so that you can transfer effectively and function well when you get to the next step, you get to that university level. Also, to make sure you go through the grading policy here, real important. Talk a little bit about presenting your 3 goals in the introductory video, and then all of the policies, calendar. Then you get to the end of the syllabus, bam, I'm going to click this. This is going to take me right to the modules. And now, for the rest of the semester, I'm just working through the modules. Or also, too, if you're having a problem doing something on Canvas, the people you should go to, not me, because realize that as instructors, we're just trying to stay one step ahead of the students. Like when everything went online, I'd never taught an online class before. And so we're just scrambling to get everything set. We're still learning a lot. And so if you want information about, gosh, I can't record my video on Canvas, what's wrong? Go right here to the help, right? And if you click on the help, you can have a chat with one of the reps. And so you can ask them the specific question. They'll tell you how to fix it. And I've noticed with Canvas, and you probably have too if you've been doing this for the last 2 years, Canvas are always changing everything. So they're always going to have the best info. So I would recommend if you're having a technical issue on Canvas, go to their help first before you come to me, because half the time I'm just going to go to the help and try to figure it out for you. So let's save the step, go there, get the help that you need to be able to navigate and function with your Canvas shell. And then on the bottom, real important, make sure that you watch these instructional videos on how to record videos. And because there's different ways you can submit, or different ways you can record and submit your videos. For example, you can record directly on Canvas's rich content editor, or you can record to your phone and then on YouTube. And then if you're taking your video from YouTube, you've got to make sure that you embed it onto the Canvas page. All of that information right here. So you want to make sure that you're watching these instructional videos. I shouldn't get a question on how to embed a video to Canvas unless, of course, you watched that video. It doesn't make any sense to you and you still need help. Cool. I'm there to help, but pretty easy to figure out how to embed the videos, especially if you watch the instructional video. Then we go down to the actual week 1 module, and the way that I have this set up, you'll actually have 3 modules for the first week, second week, third week. Then once we get to week 4, then we'll spend 2 weeks on the informative speaking module. We'll spend another 2 weeks on the persuasive speaking module, and then bam, we're all the way to week 8. Folks, this class is going to go by so fast. Don't procrastinate. Procrastination and public speaking do not go together, because you need time between writing a speech and delivering the speech to practice. And you're going to find that just the simple act of practicing your speeches before you present them will do a world of wonders when it comes to improving your overall ability to speak in public. Last thing about the modules, and you won't see this yet because I haven't published it, but the very last module, this is where I will house the weekly course lectures. So for example, after I'm done with this, this is going to get posted right here. That'll be there tomorrow. I'll also post all of the lectures initially all the way up here I'll post them on announcements. So that means every time I post a lecture, you'll be able to find it down below in the weekly lectures. But also, once I start doing announcements, the announcements will show up right here. So shouldn't have any trouble at all getting access to those instructional video lectures that I'll do each week. Hey, I'm pumped for this 8-week session. We're going to get a lot of good work done, and I know there's a lot of you right now that aren't too hot on the whole thing about public speaking, but we're going to do everything we can to make sure that not only do you enjoy public speaking, but you're pretty good at it as well. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you next week. Have a good week.